Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
Hey, it's day 2 of our travel unit. As you know, day 1 was spent talking about Punghu, or the pescadores, which is a Portuguese name for the islands of Punghu. Punghu isn't just one island, it's an archipelago, which is a group of islands. And I was ashamed to admit I'd never been there. I've got to get myself down to Punghu. It sounds beautiful.
Indeed, and of course, last time we talked about some of the attractions in Punghu. Of course, it is a compelling vacation destination. You can check out the beaches there. They've got crystal clear water and coral reefs. You could go swimming. You could try some water sports. You could also go to Twin Heart Stone to cement your love with your significant other. And you can check out those big basalt columns at Dagwoye. And, of course, we also talked about some unique Chinese culture there, some temples there, especially the Mazu Temple there in Ma Gong, Arkan Old Village. And you could check out some Chuanxiang incense as well. And, of course, we did talk about why they're called the pescadores in English sometimes. So most people say Punghu, but, of course, the pescadores was the name given to them by Portuguese fishermen because of the large fishing community there. And we'll continue talking about Punghu in today's lesson. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's read today's lesson in its entirety right now from top to bottom.
Seafood isn't the only culinary delight you can sample in Punghu. 2 of the other local specialties are cactus ice cream and brown sugar cake. The bright red ice cream has a distinctive flavor, a little sweet, a little sour, and with a hint of herbs. Brown sugar cake is so tasty that it used to be reserved for the gods and was only presented as an offering in temples. Luckily, now everyone can enjoy this subtly sweet treat. Punghu boasts magnificent sights during the day, but at night, life tends to slow down. However, one event truly lights up the night sky: the annual Punghu Fireworks Festival. Visitors pour into Ma Gong, Punghu's only city, between April and June to watch as the sky is filled with colorful explosions. The fireworks are shot off the bridge near the Guanyin Pavilion and sparkle in the air, their vivid hues reflected in the dark mirror of the sea. Although the festival brings smiles to the faces of visitors, it has a tragic origin. On May 25, 2002, China Airlines Flight 611 was flying over Punghu. Unfortunately, the plane malfunctioned and plunged into the Taiwan Strait, claiming all 225 lives on board. Punghu suffered a huge decline in tourism after the crash, and local authorities had to devise a way to attract visitors back to the islands. They cooperated with China Airlines and held a Chinese Valentine's Day event featuring a 30-minute fireworks display. The event was a hit, so the locals decided to hold the gathering every year to boost tourism. It's now one of Penghu's most renowned attractions, and one more reason to visit this enchanting corner of Taiwan.
All right, let's get to it. Let's talk some more about the pleasures of the pescadores, or pleasure in the pescadores. You want to take a trip to Punghu. If you don't have the money or the patience to travel overseas, then you can just travel over to Punghu and enjoy what it has to offer. Now, last time, before we said goodbye, we were talking about some of the food that you can enjoy in Punghu. So seafood, of course, is a specialty there, and it can be quite cheap because, of course, they've got lots of fishermen there heading out to the sea to catch fish all day long and all night long. So seafood isn't the only culinary delight you can sample in Punghu. Culinary means having to do with food, especially fine dining. You can enjoy culinary treats or culinary delights in a special restaurant, in a hotel or something like that. And of course, there are other things to eat there in Punghu as well.
Yeah, now 2 of the other local specialties are cactus ice cream and brown sugar cake. when you have a specialty, it doesn't have to be in food or in the culinary area. No, it can be something you study in school. Maybe you're an artist, but your specialty is carving or watercolors if you're a painter. Maybe you're a doctor and you've got a specialty. Maybe your specialty is cardiology, or you've focused on kids' medicine. There are lots of different specialties. Here, of course, we're talking about a type of food that a person or a region is famous for making very well. I think these are two types of foods I'd really like to try. Haven't had either. Cactus ice cream sounds like something that I probably should have grown up with since I'm from the desert and we have a lot of cactus there. But I haven't tried this, and also the brown sugar cake, which I know, Tom, you have tried the brown sugar cake.
Yeah, not in Punghu. I bought it from some lady who sells it on the street outside of a MRT station in Taipei. I can't say which one right now, but in any case, it's quite tasty, and you can enjoy that in Punghu as well. Although I've never tried the cactus ice cream. That might be kind of interesting. It says here the bright red ice cream has a distinctive flavor, a little sweet, a little sour, and with a hint of herbs or herbs. You could say it both ways depending where you come from. So if something is distinctive, it is unique. It's a special flavor that no other ice cream has. So you definitely have to check it out. Some people may like it, some people may not like it. But of course, if you travel that far to Punghu, you better try it.
It's interesting to me that the color is bright red because most cactus is green. So I would really like to try that. Now, the brown sugar cake is so tasty, so delicious, that it used to be reserved for the gods that were worshipped by the Buddhists and the Taoists. They have their gods. And only those gods were able to get a hold of this brown sugar cake. I bet that made people really sad. Or maybe they tried to, snatch it when no one was looking. That's what I do. And was only presented as an offering in temples. Now, an offering is a thing that you offer or that you are willing to give to someone as a gift or a contribution. We often use this word when we're talking about temples where people go to offer prayers and to light incense candles to get some sort of prayer answered or plea answered from the gods. So it was an offering in temples long ago. But nowadays, as Tom said, you can buy brown sugar cake even here in Taipei City if you know the right place to go.
Right, but it's probably extra special if you buy it in Punghu during a trip. And yes, indeed, in the past it was used as an offering in temples for the gods, but luckily now everyone can enjoy this subtly sweet treat. It's just a little sweet, not overly sweet. And here in the next paragraph it says, Punghu boasts magnificent sights during the day, but at night life tends to slow down. So boasting here just means it has these wonderful things, and it's got magnificent sights, which are things to see, great scenery, great sights, and they are magnificent, which means really great, fantastic, wonderful, etc. Magnificent, by the way, is related to the word magnify, which means to make something bigger, like a magnifying glass. If you're old and you can't read something, then you take out a magnifying glass to make the words bigger.
Right, so it comes from the word that means great in Latin, magnify, as Tom said. But it's something really beautiful, really elaborate, maybe even extravagant. And like Tom said, boast means that you have this thing, but you're really proud of it. So they want to use this verb. Punghu boasts magnificent sights during the day, but what happens at night? Well, things kind of slow down. It's not a fast-paced metropolitan city. It's out there in the country, so it tends to slow down. But it says one event truly lights up the night sky. They mean this literally because they have an annual Punghu fireworks festival. And I don't know about you, but I love fireworks. I look forward to those, especially around the 4th of July is when America has most of our firework displays. So Punghu has a festival that happens every year. They're using this word annual to let you know it happens every year. Where does it happen? Well, visitors can pour into Ma Gong, which is Punghu's only city. But you have to go at the right time. You have to go between April and June to watch as the sky is filled with colorful explosions. Of course, when fireworks go off, they explode in the sky. That's what makes them so beautiful. An explosion is a violent and sometimes can be destructive, shattering or blowing apart of something. A bomb explodes. Or maybe someone has a really bad temper. You can say, wow, my boss exploded this afternoon when he heard we hadn't finished the project on time.
Exactly. So to explode, again, is the verb. Explosion is the noun, so you can check out those explosions of fireworks. They're shot off the bridge near the Guanyin Pavilion, and they sparkle in the air with their vivid hues reflected in the dark mirror of the sea. So that would be a special sight to see. You don't see that during the fireworks displays at Taipei 101 on New Year's Eve because there's no water around there. So this would be quite a special way to look at fireworks, because you can see them in the air and you can see their reflection in the water of the sea. And of course, at night, the sea is all black, so it's going to be quite cool to check that out. And of course, we've got the word hue here, H-U-E, and the plural here, hues. You can see different shades of color in the water. It could refer to different colors, but it could also refer to different shades of those colors. Of course, there are many kinds of blues, many kinds of greens, many kinds of oranges, etc., etc. You'll see all those different hues reflected in the dark mirror of the sea.
It's a beautiful sentence by the author, I must say. It really paints a beautiful picture. So again, hues are different shades of colors, or it could just be colors. But our author's saying they're vivid, so they're very striking. They're not boring colors that don't catch your eye. It looks or it sounds like it's something that you don't want to miss. So this is one thing I would definitely want to see. So in that case, I would have to schedule a trip between April and June to see the colorful fireworks display. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to continue.
大家好，我是派老师。今天讲解的是4月份 Unit6 Pleasure in the Pascodores Take a Trip to 澎湖第2天的课程内容。不知道有没有同学在读完昨天的文章介绍，看了杂志中的图片，就心动手痒的订了机票，准备前往澎湖一游呢？说不定我们会在澎湖相见哦。好，我们现在一起来看看学习重点，请同学看到第一段的第一句。首先，请看到 culinary delight 这个字。什么是 culinary delight 呢？所谓的 culinary 指的呢，就是和烹饪、厨艺、美食相关的这些字，我们都可以说 culinary。好，再来，请同学看到后面的 sample， 在助动词 can 之后的这个动词 sample， 那其实就是品尝的意思。再来，请同学看到第3个句子 The bright red ice cream has a distinctive flavor。 这 distinctive 是形容词，表示独特的意思。接着，我们请同学看到第4个句子。第4个句子的 so tasty that it used to be reserved for the gods， 这边这是 so that 的句型，它是一个连接词。这里所指的呢，就是黑糖糕这么的好吃，所以以前呢都是保留给神明吃的。好，再来请同学看到第2段的第1个句子，澎湖 boasts magnificent sights during the day。好，请同学特别注意 boast 其实是当动词使用，那通常呢就是中文查字典的时候我们会说它是有夸耀的意思，不过其实它是很正面的单字，翻成中文的意思呢其实就是说在澎湖有相当漂亮的景色，相当壮观的景色。好，再来我们请同学看到第2个句子， However, one event truly lights up the night sky 这个句子，那到底是什么东西会真正照亮澎湖夜空呢？就是一年一度 annual 指的就是年度的，一年一度的海上花火节。再来，请同学看到第3个句子 Visitors pour into 马公 Punghu's only city. Pour into 呢，这边指的就是很多的观光客会涌入马公市。我们中文说涌入，那英文动词片语就可以用 pour into.
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody, let's continue talking about Punghu, and we're now going to now talk about the third paragraph. It says, although the festival brings smiles to the faces of visitors, it has a tragic origin. Remember, we're talking about the fireworks festival that takes place every year in Punghu, especially in the city of Magung. So, of course, nowadays, if you go see the festival, it will bring smiles to the faces of visitors. Oh, Daddy, look at those fireworks. They're so fantastic. I love them. But it does have a tragic origin. If something's tragic, it's bad. It means something bad happened to someone. Maybe they got hurt. Maybe they got killed or something like that. And the noun form of that is tragedy. Oh, the massacre was a tragedy. Or you could say it was a tragic massacre.
Yeah, it often, as Tom says, means something very sad happened. Usually someone has died or was really hurt severely. In this case, it was a horrible plane crash. So it does have a very tragic origin or beginning, but they've managed to turn it into something quite wonderful and lovely. So let's look at the history behind the fireworks festival. On May 25th, 2002, China Airlines Flight 611 was flying over Punghu. But unfortunately, the plane malfunctioned and plunged into the Taiwan Strait, and it killed all those who were on board. Now, if a plane malfunctions, mal is a prefix that we put at the beginning of words that means bad. So if you see mal, it's not a good thing. It's bad. So it was a bad functioning plane. And if you plunge, usually we use this verb to talk about something that's coming from a really high level, a high level or height, you could say, and goes down very, very quickly. So we'll often talk about planes plunging. You don't want to hear about that because usually people don't survive those plane crashes. Or financially, we'll use this word plunge to talk about the stock market falling very quickly. And that's not good either. So the plane plunged into the Taiwan Strait and it killed or claimed all 225 lives on board. When you see this word claim being used in a sad or tragic news story, it usually means people have died.
Right. Usually claim means you assert that something is yours. You say, I claim this land. I'm saying that it is mine. I declare that it's mine. But again, this just means it took all 225 lives on the plane. Everybody died. Punghu suffered a huge decline in tourism after the crash, and local authorities had to devise a way to attract visitors back to the islands. I suppose the plane crash wasn't really related to Punghu. It just happened to happen right by there. But of course, sometimes people are superstitious and they think, if a plane crashed near Punghu, if I go there, maybe something bad will happen to me too. So they decided not to go there. And the result was a huge decline in tourism. Here we've got the word decline. It can be both a verb and a noun, but here it's being used as a noun. It just talks about a large reduction in something, a decline in tourism. Of course, during the pandemic, there was a decline in world travel. Everybody stayed home. They didn't want to risk getting sick, so there was a decline in travel. And of course, after this disaster, there was a decline in tourism to Punghu, and that, of course, affected their economy.
And a decline is used when we're seeing something that's usually a gradual or a continuous loss of something. Maybe your health is in decline. We'll use it that way too. Something is in decline. Or you can also, as Tom said, use it as a verb where you just say, no, thank you. You can politely refuse an invitation or offer. Caroline declined the cup of tea that was offered. So this was really hard on Punghu. Some people are very superstitious and they just didn't want to be around a place where so many people had lost their lives. So they suffered a huge decline in tourism. And local authorities, usually when you're talking about authorities, guys, you're talking about people who are employed by the government, city workers. Authorities usually have the right or power to give orders or make decisions, especially in government. They had to come up with a way to get tourists back to the islands. Here it says they had to devise a way to attract tourists. To devise a way to do something is usually used when we're talking about coming up with a clever plan, something that is meant to achieve an end or a solution or a resolution to something. So they had to devise or come up with a system or a way to attract tourists back to the islands, and quick, because they were losing a lot of money.
So they cooperated with China Airlines and held a Chinese Valentine's Day event featuring a 30-minute fireworks display. So if you cooperate, that means you work together with somebody. You're going to need to use the preposition with here to cooperate with somebody, to work together with somebody. You work together to do something. You have a purpose together. And yes, indeed, this happens a lot of time in business. Companies will cooperate with each other as opposed to competing with each other. Here, they'll work together. And in this particular case, they work together. The Punghu authorities and China Airlines put together this special event. It was a Chinese Valentine's Day event, which featured a 30-minute fireworks display. So, of course, the standard Valentine's Day in Western countries is February 14th, but the Chinese one is at various dates during the year because of the lunar calendar. But they had this Chinese Valentine's event, and it featured a 30-minute fireworks display. That's much longer than the lame 6 minutes of the last one at Taipei 101.
Was it only 6 minutes?
I think that's what they said, yeah. Something like that, 6 minutes long. Which for that is quite long. But I don't know if this 30-minute one had as many fireworks going off at the same time. Maybe they shot one off and then waited 20 seconds and then shot another one. Who knows?
I don't like that either. If you're waiting between each firework, that's not very fun either. I did see pictures of 101 this past year, and it looked like the building again was on fire. So they must have shot them all off very quickly. I love fireworks, though. Now, the event was a hit, meaning it was very successful. A lot of people decided to go. So the locals, the people who lived in Punghu, are the locals. They decided to hold the gathering every year to boost tourism. To boost something means to help something, encourage something. You want to increase something or improve something. And of course, we always use this with business. You want to boost sales, boost tourism, boost your customer base, boost survey results. You want to make them better than they were before. So it's now one of Punghu's most renowned attractions. If something's renowned, it's famous. People talk about it. I can see why this would be a really popular attraction. So it's well known, talked about by people. It's famous. So there's just one more reason we're giving you to visit this enchanting corner of Taiwan. If something's enchanting, I always think of fairy tales when I see this word. To enchant just means to kind of cast a spell over someone. You kind of charm them into something. So it is an enchanting corner of Taiwan that you don't want to miss, especially if you live right here in Taiwan, like the two of us. We need to get down there soon, Tom.
We certainly do. I need to go there again. I'm overdue for a trip. It's been actually several decades since I've been to Punghu. and to Orchid Island as well. Gee, I'm just stuck in Taipei working all the time. You got to have fun once in a while, and Punghu is a good place to go have some fun and check out some of these sites there. And of course, when I was there, I didn't see a lot of these things. I did not see the basalt columns there. I didn't see that heart-shaped rock.
Right.
And of course, I didn't see the fireworks, so I think I'm overdue for another visit.
Okay, guys, that's all the time we have for now. Let's listen one more time to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to say goodbye.
好的，请同学看到第3段的第一个句子 Although the festival brings smiles to the faces of visitors 这里所指的呢，就是这个节庆活动虽然呢让很多观光客脸上呢都带着笑容，观光客都很开心，但是其实之所以会有这样子的观光活动，有一个让人感到哀伤的开始。怎么说呢？就是在2002年的时候，5月25号，华航611班机在澎湖上空失事了，所以 Unfortunately, the plane malfunctioned. 请同学注意到，这里指的 malfunction 就是它的机械产生故障了 ，and plunged into the Taiwan Strait. 所以呢，坠入了台湾海峡 ，claiming all 225 lives on board. 再接着，请同学看到 claiming all 225 lives on board 这个地方，这里呢其实是原本是 which claims all 225 lives on board， 但由于呢省略掉了代替前面这一整个句子，指的呢就是说飞机故障坠入台湾海峡这件事。那这个灾难呢带走了多少人命？动词我们用 claim 就是夺走了多少人命。那由于呢我们去掉了 which 这个关代，所以后面的动词呢要回复成原形 claim 加上 ing， 因此留下的是 claiming。再来，请同学呢特别注意到第4个句子。澎湖 suffered a huge decline in tourism， 意思指的呢就是澎湖的观光，那就此呢就陷入了低潮。澎湖 suffered a huge decline in tourism。 好，再来，请同学呢特别注意到第6个句子 The event was a hit。 那这整个活动呢很受欢迎 So the locals decided to hold a gathering every year。 那自此之后，那当地人呢他们就每年都举办这样子的活动。为什么？ To boost tourism， 要促进观光。促进观光的讲法就是 boost tourism。 以上呢就是我们针对第2天课程所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
That's it for today, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and please go to Punghu and have some fun and write to us and tell us all about it.
Yeah.
We hope you have a great time. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.